From manufacturing your Nokia and Xiaomi batteries in India to launching the first hybrid plug-in in the world, and now being the global bestsellers amongst EV, BYD has really left a strong mark in the whole electric vehicle game, not just in India, but globally. And now with me is the all-new eMax7, a redesign and the evolution of the BYD E6. Now, all of this at a price point of 27 lakhs as the base variant to 30 lakhs at the top end variant. I'm going to show you guys what all this car has to offer. Welcome to Drive Spark. I'm Vedant Jouhari, and let's jump right into this video. So now let's start off with the design elements of the eMax7. First off, if you just look at the front, well, it resembles sort of a sea animal, maybe a dolphin, maybe a seal, you really can't say, but the front end looks very different, something very unique. And we get the BYD logo massively placed right in the center. We get LED headlamps in a very sleek style. We don't get a grille on this, obviously, because this is an electric vehicle. We get a skid plate at the bottom with a few air vents located right here. Apart from that, we get chrome inserts all over the front, such as the BYD logos in chrome. We get a brushed aluminium finish on top of our headlamp. We get chrome at the bottom of our headlamp and at the bottom of our bumper. Now, we get integrated indicators as well in the front, located right where our headlamp unit is. And also we get these small air vents at the front for increased airflow to the wheels. Apart from that, we get a sort of scooped up hood with very subtle lines on it. All over this car, you really don't see anything extreme, you don't see anything major in terms of design. It's very simple, it's very subtle, and it's to the point. What you see is what you get. Now, moving to the side of the car, we get 17-inch wheels all over, all 4 disc brakes in the top end variant. So apart from the brushed aluminum on the roof, we get chrome inserts located at the bottom on our skirt and all over the side, as I said before. Now, not just chrome, we also see piano black finish all over the side of the car, such as on our door frame, on our ORVM, and also on the ORVM, we get a camera for our 360-degree camera, and we get an integrated indicator. Now, the ORVMs are all electronically adjustable, but I'll come to that once I'm sitting inside the car. Now, moving on from the front end, let's look at what we get on the rear quarter of the car. Now, the rear quarter also, we get a small window for the people in the third row. I'll show you the third row seating once I jump inside the car. And apart from that, we get space written over here because just to signify to the public that this is a spacious vehicle. It is placed in the luxury MPV segment, so we do expect there to be certain amount of room inside the vehicle. Now, moving on to the rear section, complete rear of the car, we get a connecting tail light first that stands out extremely. Now, a split style tail lamp as well, which moves on to the quarter panel of the car. And all the lighting that we get on the BYD is LED lighting. We don't see any halogen lighting on this car. At the top, we get this sort of roof spoiler, again with a brake light. We get a shark fin antenna located right at the top. Some defoggers on a rear window, chrome elements located at the rear, just above the connecting light bar. At the BYD sign is also in chrome, the eMax7, and we also get a chrome element as a rear skid plate. We get 2 reflectors at the back, one on the left and one on the right. Now, sensors are seen at the rear, at the front, all for our parking assists and for all the assists that we require while driving. The charging port located at the top, and for our vehicle to load capacity, we have a small charger located right at the bottom. So now that I'm standing at the back, let me quickly show you guys the boot space that we get on the eMax7. So now the boot that we get, as you saw, is automatic. You just need to press the button for it to open, and now this is the boot space. So I've put one of the third row seats down for you to show you what it can extend like. Now, this is the complete boot space that we get with both the third row seats down. And now if I lift them up, and now with the third row seats lifted up, this is the amount of boot space that you get. It's really not a lot, However, you can fit your basic necessities such as a regular knapsack or a few of your groceries that you're carrying with you. If you want to fit luggage, if you want to fit something bigger, you will have to put your third row seats down and compromise on a little bit of space. Now let's jump to the interior of the car and I'll show you what all features we get inside and how comfortable it is and how premium it is on the inside of this car. So getting into the driver's seat, firstly the ingress and egress of this car is extremely easy. You aren't hitting yourself anywhere. Now the seat is set up for my driving position. I'm 6'1" for example, and I'm extremely comfortable. The seat is really soft, it's really cushioning. The headrest also is almost perfectly placed. We do get an adjustable headrest in case you require it. The seats that we get is electronically adjustable. You can move it up, down, front, back. You can also tilt it based on your comfort. The steering wheel also has tilt and telescopic adjustment settings. As you can see, you can move it towards you or further back, and you can move it up or down, again based on your driving preference. Now we get a very neat welcome animation on the infotainment system, and as you guys know, BYD is known for their rotating infotainment system, and we get the same thing on this. A 12.3-inch screen that we can also turn vertical for when we require it. Now, apart from that, so we get two main analog meters on this. One is with showing your amount of battery use, the battery consumption, and the other is your speed. And looking right at the center, we have the MID, which shows us all our basic settings, which is which driving mode we're in. It has TPMS, it shows us which doors are open, and so on and so forth. Coming to the steering wheel, well, on the steering wheel is where we have all our basic controls, such as to flip the infotainment system horizontal or vertical. Basic ADAS sensors are here, such as forward collision warning, and we have our music controls located on this as well. If you want to answer or decline your calls, all of that can be done through the steering wheel itself. Now coming to the gear shifter, well, the gear shifter looks extremely premium and looks extremely classy, and we have a park, reverse, neutral and drive options on this. Coming to all the buttons and all the options we get here, well, we get a volume control over here, we get our main blower control here to switch it on or off, our auto start stop, driving modes, and again, as I said, all your basic control. Now here's where we have a wireless phone charger. We have 2 slots for that, and on the right side we have an NFC reader as well. Coming to the dash of the car, well, it's all hard plastic and it's extremely premium to the touch, to look at, and just to experience when you're inside the cabin. The whole cabin gives you a very plush feel, a very good feel when you're sitting inside it. Now for storage, we get storage options in our glove box here. We get a small storage unit right here, 2 cup holders, a phone holder located right here, and on either side of the door frame we get a small bottle holder. On the eMax7 we don't get a complete sunroof, we just get a panoramic glass roof, and I'm going to show you that. So as you guys can see, the whole sunroof that we get is massive. You can see end to end, and when you're going for your night drives or when you're going for a sunset or sunrise drive, it's going to be beautiful for when you're sitting inside the car. So that's pretty much it in the front. Let me jump to the second row and show you the seating space and how it is to be a passenger in this car. So now getting into the second row of the car, and so the driver's seat is for my positioning, and again, for my height, a person my height, around 6 feet tall, is gonna be extremely comfortable at the rear. However, the under thigh support is a little less. You do feel a little uncomfortable, but overall it's not compromising a lot of comfort. The seat makes up for it. Your knee space in the front, it may feel a little limited, but it's still extremely comfortable. You have a lot of headroom, and if you want to recline, you can recline your seat as well. So you can recline it quite a bit, and sitting like this, you're extremely comfortable in the car. Now, for a few more features that we get in the rear seat is we get an air vent located at the top right here. We get blower controls for the second row passengers right here, and we get a Type A and a Type C socket. Now, apart from that, we get ISOFIX child mounts on the second row seats, not on the third row seats. Now for storage in the second row, well, we get Again, a small storage unit for our bottles on the door frame, and located in the seat in front of you, we get one main storage unit and two smaller storage units on top in case you want to fit a phone, a small water bottle, or stuff like that. Now that's pretty much it for the second row seats. Let me jump to the third row seats and show you all the space that we get. So now seated in the third row seat, I'm extremely cramped. This is not a seat for a regular size adult, be it 5'6", 5'7", is gonna feel, even they're gonna feel very cramped in the rear seat. But let's just talk about what all we get here. We get again a small bottle holder, a cup holder on either side. We get a small window, AC vents at the rear, and we get an adjustable headrest as well. So for me, I will have to raise it, but once you raise it, it does make it a little more comfortable, but you cannot sit here for long duration of time. We also get seat belts for the third row passengers, and finally the last thing that you get is this small grab handle for the rear passengers. So that's pretty much it for the interior exterior design of the car, features of the car, and seating comfort. Now let me take you guys for a spin, show you how it is to drive, all the driving modes that we get, and how the ADAS works on the eMax7. So now we're driving the BYD eMax7, and I'm going to tell you about the battery options, how it is to drive, and the power figures and everything that you guys need to know. So first off, let's talk about the battery. We get two battery options on the eMax7. We get a 55.4 kilowatt hour and we get a 71.8 kilowatt hour battery. Now in terms of power, the 55.4 kilowatt hour battery puts out around 120 kilowatts of power. However, the 71.8 kilowatt hour battery puts out 150 kilowatts of power. In terms of the torque figures, both battery options see the same values at 310 Newton meters. So that was the battery run through. Now talking about how it is to drive, well, it's extremely comfortable. The suspension setup is brilliant. It's perfect for a city vehicle, and even for passengers in the car, it's really comfortable. The rear seat is very good. It's not uncomfortable. It doesn't make you feel cramped. It's overall a very, very good experience while driving. We have comfort, we have good performance, but how is the range? Well, range on this is around 536 kilometers on a single charge, but that again depends on how heavy you are on the throttle or how light you are. So now we've driven around 80 to 90 kilometers. We started with 100% charge and now we're down to 65%. So that's not really bad. We could still go another 300 kilometers pretty easily. So if you're getting around 400 kilometers on a single charge, 300 kilometers on a single charge, that's still really, really good for an everyday vehicle. The battery that we get is known as a blade battery. So what's a blade battery? Well, it's just basically a term that they call, and this battery has been redesigned to be 50% lighter than a regular electric vehicle battery, and it takes up less space than what a regular battery would generally take up. Also, the battery has gone through a variety of tests. Being 50% lighter, it also has to be safe. So safety tests have been done, and one of those tests were BYD got a truck to drive over the battery, and there was still no leakage from the battery. It didn't get weak, it didn't blow up, nothing happened. It still remained intact. So that is really, really good on BYD's part for also taking care of the safety aspect of it. So now finally, let's talk about the regen and the driving modes that we get. So on this, we get three driving modes: Eco, Normal, and Sport, where Eco is the easiest on throttle. The throttle calibration is very simple. However, on Sport mode, it's the complete opposite. You have the power right from the get-go. The motor just wants to pull you along, just wants to take you along. And for regen, we get two levels of regen. We get standard and larger. Standard is your basic amount of regen, and larger is basically a stronger regen. And it can all be controlled. Even the driving modes can be controlled easily through these two small levers located on the center console. So all in all, that was our review of the BYD eMax7. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Vedant Jouhari, signing out.